Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching this video. What we're talking about today, filing your tax return as a freelance musician, an independent artist, someone in the music industry. There are a lot of components that go into this and a lot of minutia that maybe you didn't learn about in school or the School of Hard Knocks. So here are a few tips, tricks, and organizational methods that will help get you the most out of your tax return this coming tax season. The first thing I will mention, and what I feel to be the most important, keeping a binder or ledger that is dedicated solely to your income, your business expenses, and your business mileage. Everything that you can put in here on a day-to-day basis will save you hours of time when preparing your tax return to be handed off to your accountant or to be filed independently. I like to have a week-to-week binder layout. This way I can see every day individually, but also week at a glance sort of thing. I keep my expenses and my business expenses on the left-hand margin. I clearly note which ones are business. I usually put a parenthetical capital B for any business expense. On the right side column, I have my business mileage in the lower right corner, and above that, all of my income for that day, and noting where I received that, who I received it from. You can organize this in any way that you like, but having a system in place is crucial to keeping things organized, neat, and simple come tax season. Now let's talk about the three precepts individually and the ways you can file things most efficiently to get the most out of your tax return. First up, income. This is where I start and where I feel a lot of discrepancies are made with independent artists, third-party contractors, etc. within the music industry. If you are working for corporations, companies, or LLCs, you will receive a 1099 after you've filled out a W-2 or an I-9 form. Once you have this, usually around February 1st or before, you can use this number not only to give to your accountant, but to also verify that the numbers in your ledger are accurate and discuss any discrepancies you may have with that employer. This is an incredibly powerful tool that will keep coming back throughout this video. Get yourself a ledger. You may also be getting paid via cash, check, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, any of these third-party apps. Whether you're on private lessons, gigs, sessions, you have merch, you have CDs, you have whatever that you are exchanging and receiving funds for. It's important to label all of these things. Yes, that does include tips from your gigs and your sessions. It is income after all. But there are ways that we can offset the income tax that you will receive from all of these things. We're going to go into those precepts, starting with business expenses. This is a very powerful tool in offsetting any income tax that you may owe for anything that is not pre-deducting tax before they pay you. This is a crucial component, and having everything organized for your accountant is very, very handy. So I like to put these things into different categories, itemize them, putting dates next to anything that is over $600 and providing the receipt if possible to make sure that there are no discrepancies. There's no guesswork in this. Keep a paper trail. The first subcategory I have under business expenses, gear. Whether it's your guitars, your basses, your keyboards, violin, whatever instruments you play. If you're using it in a professional space, you're making money off of that, you're introducing that into your craft and your profession, it can be labeled as a business expense under the gear heading. If you need strings, picks, slides, an ebow, capos, rosin, whatever you're using to maintain that instrument counts as gear. You can also include recording equipment or your computer if it's a recording-only device or something you use for making transcriptions, arrangements, things with Sibelius and Finale. any software that you buy on said machines that contributes to your profession. This also counts as business expenses. If you're buying amplifiers, cables, pedals, modelers, again, under the gear heading. The next subcategory would be music. Sheet music, whether I'm on a session, a live gig, a performance, teaching lessons, whatever it is. If I have to purchase those things, they can be offset as a business expense, as can any audio that you have to purchase for lessons, preparing for your performances, etc. Make sure you take advantage of this precept. We're all music lovers after all, and if you're using that music to prepare for your professional world, you can use that as a business expense. Another subcategory of the business expense precept would be food. Any food that you purchase with your money on the road, at a gig, session, whatever, this can be listed as a business expense as you are on company time, and as a self-employed musician, you have to cover that cost. This really adds up. So keep the receipts from your waitress. Make sure you have a copy of all of those things, and you can mark those in your ledger at your earliest convenience. If you are selling wares via the front of a P.O. box, and you're using and operating your LLC with that as your address, you can put the fee for that P.O. box also as a business expense. You also have the subcategory of wardrobe. If it is dedicated solely to the stage or the business that you are conducting, you can file any of that, whether it's shoes, a suit, a cat in the hat for a themed party where your band or group is performing and needs specific attire. You can label these things and put them under a subcategory of wardrobe. Sometimes you can claim it, sometimes you can't, but having it there just helps you out in the end. And again, I will mention any purchase over $600 for your business expenses. Try to keep your receipts so that you have a date of purchase, the exact figure, as this will make life a lot easier for your accountant or for yourself when filing. And the final organizational component when filing your next tax return, and the second in the offset category, business mileage. This is an incredibly powerful and underutilized tool in the freelance music scene and industry. You can use this to really offset a lot of that income tax that you'll accrue from any of your cash exchange, gigs, sessions, lessons, etc. There are several ways that you can effectively monitor and catalog all of your business mileage. When you get into your vehicle, or the vehicle that you will be riding in on the way to or from said event, reset the trip. At the end of your trip, make sure to write that down. Take a photo with your smartphone. Anything will do. Mark that in your ledger at your leisure. You can also use the plain odometer and mark the beginning mileage, end mileage on a clipboard that you leave in your car with a very simple blank Excel spreadsheet that you can set up. Make sure you have the date. You could have an option of the time, what you were going to and from, beginning and ending mileage, and maybe at the end, total miles traveled. You can also use third-party apps or devices that hook into your car that will monitor your trips, your progress. This is really great to just have in a third-party database that you can keep track of and corroborate with your ledger at the end of the year. Again, this is an incredibly useful yet underutilized tool in the freelance music industry scene, and it will really help you at the end of the year when you're filing your tax return to offset any of that income tax that you will accrue from your cash-oriented gigs. Now, after all of this information is organized, tallied, and totaled, you can utilize that information to your advantage and potentially apply for reduced cost healthcare plans. As freelance musicians and people within the music industry, we don't always have the option of having healthcare provided to us by a company we work for, and healthcare especially in the United States where I live, this can be rather expensive. Using our tax return to our advantage, having our income offset by our business expenses and our business mileage can put our projected annual income below the threshold where we are now eligible for reduced cost healthcare plans via your state or federal government. This is something worth looking into and pursuing if you are not working for a company, corporation, or entity that provides healthcare for you. Well, that does it for this video on filing your tax returns as an independent musician or third-party contractor, a freelance musician within the industry. I hope this was helpful to you and keeps your tax season and tax preparations stress-free or a little less stressful. All of the information you received in this video was provided in partnership with J. Maiers CPA. If you have any questions about filing your next tax return or any questions about the components of income, business expenses, and business mileage organization, contact J. Maiers CPA, and you can contact them via their website at jmaiers.com. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you all next time.